Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have to bring you maybe some disappointing news. Something that I was very much looking forward to, I'm now kind of terrified with. There was a recent Entertainment Weekly story that dropped along with some images that are sending the wrong message. And perhaps that may be the intention, or maybe this film is something everybody, including He-Man fans, should be worried about. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I'm trying to get to 50K, double check you're still subscribed, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and then hit the thumbs up button. I would truly appreciate it. On that note, let's jump right into the story coming to us from Cosmic Book News. The EW's Masters of the Universe story raises big red flags for He-Man fans. That's right, this article ran yesterday about He-Man, and it's very concerning. Again, I don't mind the imagery so far. I mean, I think this looks right, but maybe the underlying presence of some story elements are going to concern some people. So let's jump into it. If you're a He-Man fan and you came away from the Entertainment Weekly's new Masters of the Universe cover story worried, you're not overreacting. That seems to be how it's hitting most people. And the piece makes the movie sound less like a bold fantasy epic and more like a modern studio remix that's built to chase Barbie heat, which I hope that's not the case because they're two entirely different audiences here. There's going to be a combination of Guardians of the Galaxy tone and turn Prince Adam into another fragile outsider searching for himself. Two elements that when Hollywood gets their claws into are really never good. A lot of fans didn't want to hear that pitch. Barbie and Guardians are the first warning signs. I agree. One of the biggest red flags is how openly the movie is being framed through Barbie. Well, that's a big problem because, as I said before, these are two properties that are nothing alike. An appeal to boys and an appeal to girls. The original cartoon animation was there to sell the toys, and maybe this movie is as well. But it sold the toys primarily to boys and not girls, despite the crossover in audience. It isn't wired the same way as Barbie is. Barbie is directly designed for ladies, women, girls. And you know what? It works for that. It didn't work for the male audience. The only thing that saved it was Ken. And that one specific performance of that one specific song kind of, left the men leaving there not completely destroyed by the narrative in the film. I'm just going to say these two properties could not be any farther apart. And outside of, blending plastics together to make toys, there's nothing else alike for these two franchises. And you know what? That's a good thing. So EW says the project finally clicked for after Barbie's success, with producers praising Amazon MGM's film boss Courtney Valenti for seeing He-Man as a 4-quadrant play and basically helping Mattel try to bottle that lightning once again. Except that's not what's going to happen if they appealed to the female gaze. On top of that, Nicholas Galatzine directly compares the script's tone to James Gunn's first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, while producer Robbie Brenner says that people may not know the movie is because it has a weird, crazy tone. If they really messed with this, it's going to be this Smith thing all over again, and everybody's going to destroy it. It doesn't sound like confidence in He-Man. It sounds like executive trying to reverse engineer another toy brand hit, which means they don't understand the character or why the toys hit in the first place. They don't seem to trust He-Man to work as He-Man. They want to make him something else. And the most telling part of the article is how director Travis Knight talks about the character, which I'm going to tell you isn't good. He says the movie uses He-Man to explore masculinity, vulnerability, and changing cultural attitudes from the 1980s to now, which is probably one of the biggest problems in this country currently, is the manipulation of our culture and the fact that we used to be a cultural exporter and now apparently we've lost our way. I don't know. Then he describes the character as a bronzed empathy coach in furry pants. What? That line says a lot. Yeah, it does. It says even the guy that's, directing this doesn't get it. Maybe the writers didn't get it. Nobody may have gotten this from the beginning to the end. But again, we only have this one article to work from. We don't know what we're really going to see. And this is a film I was looking forward to and I'm going to see so you don't have to in case it turns out being very, very bad. But they're really just not treating He-Man properly. And instead of treating He-Man as a mythic hero played straight, the movie sounds like it's already winking at the audience and trying to explain the property away before critics can mock it first. Well, that's a huge mistake. Nobody trusts the critics anymore, and if those are the people you intend to play to, that's not going to work out very well. Might as well play it straight like they did with Project Hail Mary and get the most mileage out of it as you possibly can. Now, Prince Adam sounds weak before he ever becomes He-Man. And you know what? That did play in the trailer that I saw, but at the same time, there seemed to be a little bit of a stoic passion stirring behind the actor's eyes, or that could just be me. But EW's description of Adam is another problem. The piece says young Adam would rather dance than train, and writer Chris Butler describes him as a bit of a weed in a society full of buff warriors. Buff warriors. He is a buff warrior. What are they talking about here? And why would they be selling him like that? I don't know. As an adult on Earth, he works in an unfulfilling corporate HR job, well, using pronouns, which is already a bad sign. Talks so much about Eternia that people think something is wrong with him and is described as depressed, isolated, and basically a shadow of himself. Wow, they are really trying to bury messaging with that, aren't they? You can build a hero's rise from hardship, sure, but this reads less like classic Prince Adam and more like Hollywood's standard broken modern male template. And you know what? That doesn't sell very well anymore. Everybody's awake. They hate the culture that you brought, Hollywood. And if you're putting it into this film, it's going to fail. Teela is being set up to outclass Adam from the jump. Then there is Teela. Knight tells EW at the beginning of the movie she's a better fighter than Adam, more acrobatic, smarter, and more strategic. Mendes also says that Teela is shaped by being affected by toxic masculinity and by adopting masculine traits to survive. Oh, joy! That sounds perfect and something that I think every He-Man fan was worried about from the very beginning. Considering that the toy lines have largely recently revolved around Teela, including the cartoon animations and the Kevin Smith bologna sausage. But the article went on further, obviously, and says that men in the film are being affected by toxic masculinity. What? What? That's not what He-Man is. You guys have a real problem. See, the comedy angle sounds like another bad fit. EW says that the movie is packed with humor and is on the joke. And is in on the joke and takes a self-aware, self-deprecating approach to character names and personalities. And if they've actually done this, they really didn't understand the cartoon from the very beginning. This is exactly the kind of thing that works for Guardians of the Galaxy and nowhere else, as we found out over time, but it's exactly the kind of thing that can wreck Masters of the Universe, especially for fans. He-Man does not need the movie apologizing for the property. He needs conviction. Eternia needs to feel huge, dangerous, and epic, and sincere, not a Skeletor meme, which I hope they don't lean into. Look, this article goes on, and I'm going to encourage you to go read it over there at Cosmic Book News, because I know Matt worked extra hard on it. And again, this does have quite a bit of opinion and analysis in it, which he acknowledges at the beginning of the article. But is this going to surprise people in a good way? Is it going to surprise people in a bad way? I leave those questions up to you. Because I'm done. Do you think Because I'm done. Do you think that He-Man is actually going to succeed in theaters? Do you think that this film is not going to be as bad as I now am feeling it might be? Or do you think that the reviews are going to be frighteningly similar to a lot of other failed properties that decided to lean this direction for nothing more than messaging and malicious attacks on males? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands because it's good hygiene. And until next time, see ya. Just maybe kind of upset after He-Man.